Welcome to the Cardinals Squad Show. Benjamin Garcia, host of the Ben Garcia Show, host of Locked On Phoenix Suns. The Arizona Cardinals broke ground yesterday on their new practice facility, but not without Michael Bidwill putting his foot in his mouth. What do I mean by that? Let's talk about it.
Donnie Druin, Cardinals on SI beat writer. The Cardinals finalized their coaching staff today. And does NFL experience really matter? We'll get into it.
Alex Clancy, Locked On Cardinals. Who do you trust on this roster? There are a couple, but not as many as you think. Let's discuss.
Rise up, Red Sea. It's the Cardinals Squad. Everything Arizona Cardinals every week. Covering all the big hits and game-changing plays from the Valley of the Sun. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Gear up and squad up. The Cardinals Squad Show starts now.
What is up, and welcome back to the Cardinals Squad Show. Wherever you may be listening, however you may be listening, thank you so much for making this show a part of your day. Don't forget to hit that like, share, subscribe button. Follow us on all social media platforms down in the episode descriptions down below or in the show notes if you're watching on audio. Today's episode is brought to you by the lovely folks over at 5 Hour Energy. Have your cake and drink it too. Birthday cake flavor is back. No fork needed. Vanilla-y cakey flavor, caffeinated kick, and no sugar. It's party time now, or it's party time. Order now at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon. Okay, so Michael Bidwill, the Arizona Cardinals, broke some ground yesterday on their brand new training facility that people are giving him a lot of praise for, rightfully so. At least, you know, this probably would never happen without the NFLPA report cards that him and a couple of other teams try to shove to the side. But Michael Bidwill couldn't get through a good thing without putting his own foot in his mouth. After being asked about potentially hiring a team president, he kind of smugly said, "I am the team president. I am the team president. Next question." Donnie, what were your thoughts on, first off, I guess I should say this. How much, do you buy into the argument of, the team president? Should there be one? Should there not be one? And then, of course, what did you take for Michael Bidwill's lovely comments?
Yeah, I think it's just like an organization by organization base. I think you look at teams both in the NFL and the NBA where I believe, isn't Matt Ishbia both president and owner of the Suns too? Or am I wrong? I think governor is the actual name that he has besides owner. But I think you look at the track record for the Arizona Cardinals since Michael Bidwill has taken over and just largely what they've been in franchise history. And you would assume that they would want to have at least another person in the hierarchy, whether it be for, just like football reasons or maybe stuff to take some stuff off of Michael Bidwill's plate. But at the end of the day, I think a team president is probably going to be a little bit more closer involved than an owner is. I feel like a lot of owners around the NFL are just very hands off. They enjoy the money they get from their product, and that's pretty much it. Team presidents are going to get their hands a little bit more dirty, and I think that's where some of the hesitation with Michael Bidwill holding that kind of power comes into place. I thought he just wanted to shut those comments down or any questions down right away whenever he said that. But he did come off as very insecure, for lack of better terms. And maybe if the Cardinals were doing a little bit better, he would have sounded more confident in the way he answered it. But I think we're at a point now where it's just Bidwill is going to be so under fire for every little decision moving forward.
Yeah, that's all well and good for a winning organization. Okay, he talks, and I've joked about this for years, he talks and acts and everything he runs this organization like they've won 5 Super Bowls. It's it's weird, I know, but let us do our thing. Look at how well it's worked. It hasn't worked. So when you get offended by this, it's hey, Mikey baby, maybe try something different. He's like a petulant child holding on to a stuffed animal saying, no, you can't play with it when it comes to the organization. It's dude, you're the losingest organization in the history of professional football ever. Maybe change something. So when he says, he goes, answer it with a little bit more respect. We go back and forth. What did we talk about last week? Michael Bidwill's disappearing act after, the 3-14 season, the introduction of that. And then, the big week on local radio for their flagship station. He was nowhere to be found, and they threw Michael LaFleur in last second. It's isn't that better? You'd rather have him not talk to anybody because this is what happens when he does. But the problem is he doesn't have a spokesperson not named Monty Ossenford above him, below Michael Bidwill, that can do it. So Yeah, like these things, he makes it about him all the time, one way or another. And this is just another example of that.
I was going to echo all of the same things that Clancy just said. The thing that really bothered me was the way he said it. I mean, the reporter that asked it is a bit of a bulldog, if you will, and I think people really appreciate that he will pepper really anyone and everyone with questions. I think sometimes that takes the Cardinals a little off guard. So it seemed as if maybe he was a little bit annoyed with the reporter, who, by the way, was just doing his job. So again, no issues with that. But the way he answered it came off very close to what Clancy was saying. Like the way that they're doing things are working. The problem is Bidwill always acts like he is 10 times smarter than you. And he's just not. He was born on third base. He is not a football guy. That is not what his background is in. And it was very frustrating yesterday. He had to have known that question had to have been coming at some point, and to have a answer prepared like that, like, to me, it just felt like you're sticking your foot in your mouth. So agreed with all the things you guys are saying there. I don't want to make that the entirety of the segment, because that new facility is obviously a very big deal, and it will be here in 2028. They'll move into it, the training camp of 2028. Donnie, how much stock do you think should be put in this? And you could kind of go any way with that. Like, is Bidwill kind of putting his money where his mouth is? How much is this actually going to help attract other free agents? And would this have ever happened without the NFLPA report cards?
I can't answer that last question for sure, but what I can tell you is last year the Cardinals went from 27th to dead last in the overall NFLPA report card rankings. And whenever I tell you, almost immediately they announced those plans for the new facility, it was almost in a snap of a finger. Like the report cards got leaked, and then maybe like 30 minutes to an hour after, the Cardinals went, no, we're building a new facility. I think ultimately it'll be good. I think they're currently lagging behind the NFL largely for a lot of the stuff that they highlighted in the NFLPA report card, such as facilities, strength and training, like nutrition and dieting, like all that other good stuff that we don't see behind the scenes that actually do matter to the players. They've had failing grades in for the last 2 years, essentially. So I do think this new facility will be key in boosting those grades, and then also just like attracting free agents, because you got to think these guys are here, a lot of them, like year round, like whenever it's not football season, they're still at the facility training. So like the quality, it matters. And when you look at the Cardinals and you compare them to other teams around the National Football League and even some like college programs as well, like you look at LSU, Alabama, like all of these other schools, like they're pumping money into facilities, and it matters. It definitely matters. It's not the end all be all. It's not going to boost their Madden overall by 10 points, and they're all of a sudden going to be a 10-win team moving forward because they have nice new stuff. But I do think it is a good step in the right direction.
Yeah, and here's the thing: is like you can't pinpoint why Arizona Cardinals players get so oftenly injured, but it'd be easier to say it wasn't the facility if the facility was built not in the Mesozoic era. Like strength and conditioning, all of the workout regimen, all of the machinery and all that stuff, the fields, everything like that. These guys, their tool is their body. So if it's getting worked in an older, establishment, I'm not saying it's the root cause, but I'm saying it's hard to deny that maybe there would be some correlative between the two. It's 100,000 square feet bigger. They've got 3 fields, 1 dome. Like this is going to be, it's going to be state of the art. For me, though, like the biggest issue I had, the team president thing was a big thing, but tell me if you guys think this is weird, and feel free to disagree with me. So he was quoted as saying from the breaking ground ceremony, he said, quote, "For us, this project is a generational Arizona first investment anchored by a world-class performance center and team headquarters. At its core is a focus on helping our players reach their full potential and maximizing team performance." That was the good part. And then he goes on to this, quote, "But it will also undoubtedly strengthen the state's economy and create an iconic new landmark in Phoenix." Shut the hell up. What are you talking about? Are you running for president? Why does that matter about the organization at all?
Mean?
Like, at all. Why does it matter? Who gives a rip about the economy? Does it always have to be about you making money? Why can't we focus on the players and you finally giving them something that wasn't built in 1436? Like, seriously, that pissed me off more than the team president thing. Am I just a crotchety old dude thinking about this? Or is that just another thing that Michael Bidwill is so aloof, or not aloof, just disjointed with the situation? It's like, okay, you're already doing a victory lap after waiting years to do this when you should have done it years ago?
I think he said that because there were like politicians, like
Who
chamber.
gives a bleep?
There. I know.
I'm sorry, dude.
I'm just telling you why
he even wrote that. To be fair, do you think he even wrote that?
100%. 100%.
I don't think he.
I can so we're clear. I can see both sides. I totally see Clay's side. I totally see Donnie's side on this.
I'll tell you what. The first part was written. He added the last two sentences and flipped the crayon. That's what happened. Like, did I do good? Did I do good? That's what he does. He's a petulant little child. We got to talk about the economy. We got to talk about it. It's like, no, you don't, you dummy. Sorry. But seriously, though, is that just another Michael Bidwill thing, or is it really just not that big of a deal when you read that quote?
I think when you look at just like what it would quote unquote mean for the area, because it's what off of Scottsdale 101, right?
Oh, because that's a really poor area too. For sure,
it was actually supposed to be the home of the new Coyotes facility until Alex Morello decided to go, take his millions and run away, which makes it even a little bit more funnier. But I'm sorry, yeah.
I'm willing to bet money somebody wrote it for him, and they were just like, hey, like with all these people here, it's just like sneak this in really quick. And Bidwill being Bidwill. If he did write it, I would like to imagine he had like a quill just dipping it in ink at his desk with a candle burning.
Oh, I would assume he
burns himself on the candle.
I would assume he just wrote it in crayon. Hey, so for the last couple bits of this segment, let me just ask you this, because it is kind of a part of the groundbreaking, and I did think it was interesting. Do you take anything from it for the players that weren't there yesterday? Like there was, Donnie, just make sure I got this correct. I know Trey McBride was there. I know Marvin Harrison Jr. was there. Was that Elijah Higgins that was there with them?
Yep, Budda Baker, Trey McBride.
Sorry, Budda Baker as well. That one was kind of interesting. I was like, is that Elijah Higgins?
That reminded me of the Dragons meme where it's like the three dragons and then the
and I like Elijah Higgins.
Higgins is a cool dude for sure.
It just was like, why?
Kyler Murray wasn't there though.
See? Do we take anything from that, from the players that weren't there? And not just Kyler, where Clancy can be like, yeah, you dumb bleep. He's not going to be here next year.
I don't talk like that.
But Marvin Harrison Jr. was there. Is that kind of like they're not taking calls on those guys? That's what I mean, right? They're not bailing on any of these guys. Do you take anything from that? That like, hey, these are the guys that we're symbolizing our new performance center with?
That was another layer. And it's funny because we asked Kyler about that earlier this year. We brought it up to him and he was like, it's cool. Hope I'm here to see it. And everybody's like, what do you mean?
What do you mean by that?
What do you mean? I just think that was like another layer to the 7-layer chocolate cake that is Kyler Murray just trying, at least the Cardinals are trying to trade him. Whether or not they can successfully do so, it kind of remains to be seen. But I mean, you take into account that like LaFleur's like lack of commitment on numerous occasions whenever he's been asked about Kyler Murray. It all kind of just is adding up slowly but surely.
I mean, I think it's a much bigger deal of who showed up during the Michael LaFleur's introductory press conference. I think that's a bigger deal than the practice facility.
For sure.
I mean, so I don't think either of them are important. Budda Baker probably won't be here in 2028, but he was there. So I don't know.
He's a Ring of Honor guy, though. Like, Like he's a Ring of Honor guy.
This is just who he is. Budda Baker's on the team now. He's going to show up to things. It's just who he is. But yeah, like by and large, this is a whole lot of nothing. Like it's great. It's coming. It's probably going to get delayed 2 more years, but people at least they get it now. And Michael Bidwill gets his moment in the sun with his cute little bow tie. But he bungled this again.
The truest thing said of anything we've said is, and I can't believe it took 15 minutes for us to mention this, it's 100% going to get delayed till 2030. Like
construction, absolutely.
Oh yeah, construction until they come up and say they're gonna slice off 25,000 square feet when he sees the bill.
What is North Scottsdale gonna do with their terrible economy until then? Shut up.
But you can see it from the freeway, Alex. Come on,
Shut up. You can see Phoenix Rising Stadium from the 202 also. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's an eyesore. One other thing, isn't it kind of weird that the stadium's in Glendale and that the practice facilities in Scottsdale? I guess most of the players live out in Scottsdale, so I guess that's not too crazy.
It was further away. It was down in Chandler before that. It was on.
That's right.
Whatever.
That's right. It was in Chandler. Hey, yeah. Donnie, last 30 seconds. What do you think of the old facility? Is there just one? Is there like electrical wires hanging from the
no, just
the roof and
from a media perspective? I'm excited to see what a new media room looks like, and I'll just leave it at that.
Everything is small there. It's just tight. Plus, you can't even sneak peeks when you're not even allowed to. It's just not.
Yeah,
sneak peeks with guys on the field. Yeah, it's just not.
Old Mikey B putting his money where his mouth is. Even if he had to write the last part of it in crayon. Cardinals finalized their coaching staff, and we'll give you one last opinion from each of us on just how Mike LaFleur did, as well as not a lot of NFL experience on this coaching staff. Is that concerning or not so much? Because a lot of them are just coaching position groups. Let's talk about that next. Today's episode is brought to you by the folks over at FanDuel. Everyone to experience the NBA Finals live and in person. FanDuel is giving you the chance to turn that dream to reality with their NBA sweepstakes. Here's how it works: use your profit boost on any NBA future. You'll automatically be entered for a chance to win an NBA Finals trip for two. That's right, flights, tickets, the whole experience. If you're already looking at the board and thinking about which team can make a deep run, this is a perfect time to lock it in. I love futures this time of the year. Whether it's picking a team to win the championship or grab a conference title, it adds an extra layer of excitement to every game down the stretch. And now, not only can you pick cash, but it can send you to the NBA Finals. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Use your profit boost on an NBA future and get entered for a chance to win a trip to the NBA Finals. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sports book partner of the NBA. So, the Arizona Cardinals have finalized their coaching staff. For the YouTube audience, here's what it looks like. We've got a numerous plethora of names. A lot of these guys have come from college. Some guys from Texas, some guys from Miami. Not a ton of NFL experience. I believe the statistic that Clancy threw at me that is from Teo Mackey of the AZ Central is there is a total of 27 years of NFL experience on this coaching staff.
A lot of college guys.
How concerning is that for you, Clancy?
It's not. Because what you need to look around the NFL is Seattle hired a couple dudes from college. Like, this is how NFL coaches get made, is they come from college and they were a position group coach there. Justin Fry was there last year. I mean, obviously not the best example with the offensive line cratering like it did, but I think this is much ado about nothing. I do think, like, I know a couple Miami guys got hired. Like, if you look at what the position group is and what school that coach was coaching at in college, if they were a top flight, you know that a guy's been around a really good defense at his level. I know college and the pros are wildly different games, but they take the same things to make a defense good. So it's linear that way. And you just work with better, tools, which are, the players. So I think it's much ado about nothing. Plus, like, there's plenty of experience in necessary spots for the Cardinals, especially on offense. Bringing in Tony Sorrentino, bringing in Matt Schaub. Like, the offense is going to be good with the guys that they have, even if the experience there isn't, 30 plus years or whatever as a person. So much ado about nothing for me.
No, I think I'm on the same wavelength as Alex. I mean, looking at the staff, like, my biggest prerequisite was just have coordinators with play calling experience. And we technically got that with both Rallis and Hackett, although not exactly the best play calling experience for either. What, like, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Like, you need to kind of take what you can get if you're the Cardinals moving into 2026. And as for the position coaches, like, it's more so just like player development for me. Like can these guys really maximize the guys in this team? And I think Alex put it perfectly. Like, that translates from any level of football ever, from high school to college and NFL. Like if you can get guys to kind of sharpen the craft to be better, I'm all for it. And I think that the best example was Peter Kwiatkowski, the Texas defensive coordinator that helped defensive linemen such as Byron Murphy. And there's another name I'm losing off the top of my head right now. Yeah, like he helped both of those guys kind of reach next level. And now he's coming to a room with Walter Nolan, Darius Robinson, and a couple of other like really talented guys. So I think it's more so it's just less about like the brand name of, hey, like, you know, this guy doesn't have NFL experience, but more so looking at, okay, let's look at the track record. Let's look at the experience, because Kwiatkowski has like 3 decades of coaching experience at the college level. It's just he's never done it in the pros.
It does.
Football's football.
It is a little concerning, right? Now, there is the caveat to it of this is the best the Cardinals could do. Like, this might be, we won't actually know because we don't know a ton about a lot of these college coaches. Like, we know some of the background with guys like Kwiatkowski on this team, and we know that he could potentially be awesome. But a lot of the other guys are a bit of unknowns. But this is kind of the sandbox that the Cardinals are playing in, where I cannot be thrilled with the coaching staff, but understand they did try to hire Gus Bradley, even if I wouldn't have loved that hire. They did try to potentially hire someone else, but they had to settle for Nick Rallis. The only thing that is concerning for me is the Cardinals had been able to attract at least good head coaches to good, maybe not positional coaches, because I don't want to act like I know a ton about that, but good coordinators. And now it feels like the jury is out on them as an organization, meaning no one wants to come work for you. You're going to have to prove you're a functional organization before you get those big boy hires in here again. So you're going to have to try to do it with Nick Rallis. And so I understand that I get it. This might be the best that they could do, but also it is a little concerning, right? That they couldn't get a little bit more NFL experience on the coaching staff, even if we can agree maybe it doesn't matter that much. But for a first-time head coach, it should, right?
Yeah,
Clancy?
I don't know. Again, I just said it, and so did Donnie. Like it's about experience around the game of football, not necessarily NFL experience. When it comes to coaches, it's just like a draft. Everybody thinks you stole the draft. Oh, great hire with DC, great hire with OC, great wide receiver bring in, all those things. We have no idea until they coach with those players, with the other coaches around them. So this is all predicated upon something that hasn't happened yet. You're right that the Cardinals obviously aren't picking from the cream of the crop. We have no idea what John Harbaugh is going to do in New York. We have no idea what Jesse Minter is going to do in Baltimore with Lamar when they pivot to a defensive-minded head coach. We have no idea what Mike McCarthy is going to do with Pittsburgh, which has been a perennial defensive juggernaut, and they're pivoting to an offensive coach. We have no idea. What we do know is, you're right, the Cardinals didn't get exactly who they wanted from any of the coordinator positions or head coach, like the top of their list. But that doesn't mean that them taking – these are dart throws with college guys.
Yeah.
Yes, you look at the experience, you look at what makes sense, and you see if they can elevate it to the NFL level. Justin Fry failed miserably last year. A lot of it was play. We talked about it with Jamil all the time with the offensive line. Injuries, things like that. They didn't have a run game. So you kind of give him another year. He's coming back. But this isn't concerning to me until the Cardinals look dysfunctional. And Ben, like the biggest thing that I'll push back on is like, they've always had to fight back. They've always been dysfunctional. This isn't we have to prove to the rest of the NFL you're functional. They've never been. They've always been riding upstream without oars, like whatever the salmon crap is. You know, like they've always been doing that. So this isn't new. They've always been grading on a curve, like forever, quite literally. So it's not new.
No, it's definitely not new, but you don't think it feels particularly worse nowadays?
No. 2018 was the worst I've ever experienced. Yeah. This is not anywhere near that. They've got a good roster. Okay? They've got Monty Ossenfort. For those that want to fire Monty Ossenfort, that's fine. Just wait, okay? Last year shouldn't count.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. It shouldn't. It just shouldn't count. It sucks, but it shouldn't count. No, I don't. This is so, like, Ben, 2018. Donnie, were you on the beat then yet?
No.
Okay. So, yeah, this shows my age. So, remember, week 1, 2018, I'll just paint this picture and then we can move on. I'm sorry. I was in the press box with Bo Brock, who was co-hosting with me at the time. It was week 1, Washington Redskins at the time still. Alex Smith, Adrian Peterson, Sam Bradford's first game. The Arizona Cardinals were on the field for 5 minutes in the first half. 5 minutes. I'll remember it till the day I pass. This isn't that. That year, they scored less points per game than the 2008 Detroit Lions, who went 0-16. That was a different world. That was a relegated team. This is not great, and last year wasn't good, but it could be significantly worse, which has been, by and large, around the existence of this organization. So we can't get that twisted.
Let me ask this other question. No, I think it's totally fair, everything you're saying. If you want to say that it's always been this bad, what am I going to do? Argue against you? I don't have the statistics to back that up. Again, there might be some sort of what do you call it? Recency bias when it comes to this. So here's the other thing. This is actually a story from Donnie Druin, which is actually kind of interesting that popped up. But Peter Kwiatkowski, why didn't they just hire him as the Cardinals defensive coordinator? Like if they, because, and here's why, like, here's what I'll say by this. They clearly weren't that interested in Nick Rallis if they were trying to get his replacement. Peter Kwiatkowski does have experience as a defensive coordinator. If it is at the college level, he's had experience actually having pretty elite defenses. The reporting is he kind of got tired of the NIL and the recruiting process, and he wanted to ship his way over to the NFL. He really feels like a great ad. Why isn't he just the defensive coordinator for the Arizona Cardinals? And could we potentially be talking about him getting the defensive coordinator role if Nick Rallis leaves the bed in the middle of the season?
That's the one. I was waiting for you to get there. That was it. Because
Nick Rallis just took some time.
No, it's fine. It's fine. The windup was fine. Nick Rallis was under contract this year. He had a different thing than Drew Petzing. Okay, so he was under contract. So you'd have to fire him to move off from him. I don't see a world where they're going to replicate what happened after the bye week last year. I just don't see it. They were pretty good in 2024. They were really good until their bye week, even going up against Green Bay and Indy when they had one combined loss at that point that season. And then they pretty much blanked Dallas in week 9. So this defense is going to be much better, and Nick Rallis was the reason for that. He's going to be a head coach now, pretty much, because he's got no help. So that'll be fascinating. But no, we talked about this a little bit. Like, I'm good with Nick Rallis. I don't care. You bring him back, fine. Like, I'm not going to eat your lunch for that. So yeah, and then maybe you have a line and wait guy to supplant him if things go awry this year.
Yeah, more so for me, it was the way we got back to Nick Rallis that kind of really rubbed me wrong. It was
really bad.
If we were really sold on Rallis, like, why are we bringing everybody and their mom in for an interview? Like, okay. And that told me either one, they didn't want to fire Rallis and pay somebody else, or two, like they were just seeing what was out there, and if they liked somebody better than Rallis, they would have done it. But like they didn't. They ultimately didn't, and it's like you said earlier, you can't have your cake and eat it too. The Cardinals were bound to miss at the plate at some point this offseason. As it turns out, they missed a handful of times at the plate. Their batting average is very, very low right now. But I agree. Like, Rallis isn't the worst decision in the world. But like I said earlier, it's just it's the way they went about it that really makes me think, okay, they're not sold on him. They are not sold on Nick Rallis right now.
I actually love it. It feels like Peter Kwiatkowski is so overqualified for a defensive line job on one of the worst organizations in the NFL. It feels like had they known he was available beforehand, I think he would have been the defensive coordinator for this team. And I'm with you guys.
Like, jump to go from college to the pros, man. Yeah. That's a huge jump.
Absolutely. But clearly they didn't like Nick Rallis. They offered a couple of guys the job.
It's not like they didn't like Nick Rallis. They would have fired him if they didn't like him. You could hire somebody else. Listen, this is what I'm saying. This is it.
Go for it.
You can't put in a new defense with a brand new head coach who has no concept of running a defense, with a new defensive coordinator, with all the influx about injuries of Walter Nolan and Garrett Williams and everything like that. Like, Jacoby Brissett plus Nick Rallis equals stability for a new first-time head coach. Like, Nick Rallis, he has an offense that everybody knows who's on the roster. There's safety in that. And the defense has worked. So getting there late, they're probably fighting with themselves like, is he the best option? But they got to do their due diligence too. And I'm sure Nick Rallis understood that. They gave so many points last year.
Do you think that's part of the balance with taking such a swing on Mike LaFleur? Because I was LaFleur's biggest advocate for the Cardinals to hire him for a very a decent amount of time during the coaching search, but like with the caveat of like, this is a big risk. Like this is like a guy who hasn't called play in years. He's been under the McVay-Shanahan tree. Like whenever he did call plays, it didn't go great. And there are reasons for all of that and why it happened and why it took place. But like, this isn't like a safe bet. Like hiring LaFleur was the opposite of safe. So like, do you think that the retaining of Rallis was kind of like, okay, like, let's hedge our bets a little bit in terms of like continuity and like in terms of safety?
Yes. Absolutely. But the problem is now he's a head coach. So not only did you retain him, you promoted him. Like, I know that Jonathan Gannon, it wasn't his defense. He wasn't calling the plays. He's like this over his shoulder, man. He's there. This isn't Nick Rallis. He's not ignoring the defensive side of the ball. Like, you're going to see who Nick Rallis is as a 33-year-old, mind you. He was a child when he got hired. He was 29 years old when he got hired as DC. He looks like he just went through 2 terms as president of the United States. During that introductory press conference again. He looks seasoned. He's seen some bleep now. So he got promoted, and this is a prove-it deal for him. Either he's going to be the DC and he's going to get head coaching looks next year or 2 years after that.
Probably 2 years, yeah.
He's going to be fired at the end of this season. But I have no problem bringing him back because of what Donnie just said. Like, it's a safety net. You need safety nets, and it's a safety net. Right?
I know it's unpopular, and I know because I've said all this stuff, the Peter Kwiatkowski thing. I would have kept Nick Rallis. I was trying to think of a nicer way to say it because it's such a hot topic issue. I wish people would go back a year ago and see how everyone talked about Nick Rallis. I think he's a very bright defensive mind who got really unlucky with some of these injuries. And I think what matters more than anything, especially in defense now in the NFL, it's continuity. When you're changing it up consistently every week, not having he lost multiple corners before the season even started. Sean Murphy-Bunting and Starling Thomas both out before the season even started. Yeah. Walter Nolan's in and out of the lineup. Mac Wilson's out of the lineup. Will Johnson's out of the lineup. Like, I like Nick Rallis. But like Donnie said, the optics of it are terrible. And so if you didn't want him or whatever, you were at least entertaining other people. I just thought we might as well just hire this guy. But I'm assuming that's where we're all kind of getting to, is if he doesn't work out towards the middle of the season, pretty nice fallback option at the defensive line spot, at least someone who probably would have got some looks elsewhere if you didn't scoop him up. Okay, let's talk some trust issues. Who do you trust on the offensive side of the ball? Who do you trust right now on the defensive side of the ball? And this kind of will help us dissect what actually the Cardinals should probably do in the draft and in free agency. Let's talk about that next. Listen, they want to be me, but they can't replicate what I do. Today's episode is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. With 18 different flavors to choose from, including new options like Confetti Craze, Fruity Rainbow, or Cotton Candy, there's something for everyone. The board is set. The flavors are ready, and I've already got my number one pick for the 5 Hour flavor draft. For myself, listen, it's got to be cherry. I love the bold cherry candy style flavor. That's just kind of what I go to if I'm ever choosing candy. Anything that is red, that cherry, love it. Classic red fruit profile, bright, punchy taste, clean, slightly tangy finish, just enough for me to be like, okay, this isn't super sour. Some other, an honorable mention, if you will, big confetti craze guy, sweet birthday cake inspired flavor. Listen, if I'm going to have an energy shot, not a lot of these taste super well, especially the ones with not a lot of sugar. That's not the case with 5 Hour Energy. They give me all these different flavors. That underrated one, Confetti Craze, rich, indulgent sweetness from start to finish. 5 Hour Energy shots give you a boost with zero sugar. 5 Hour Energy has a lot of upcoming flavor initiatives planned. So find your new favorite 5 Hour Energy shots online, available at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon. All right. Keeping the show running. Let's start on the offensive side. Actually, we just were talking Nick Rallis. Let's start on the defensive side of the ball a little bit. When we are talking about specific position groups and specific players Who do you trust on the defensive side of the ball, position groups wise, Clancy, defensively speaking?
So I, spoiler alert, recorded this for Monday's show. I've got 3 that I landed on. I trust Josh Sweat, I trust Mac Wilson, and I trust Budda Baker. And that's it. So the reason for this is injuries I'm putting into play also. I know Mac Wilson went on IR midseason. Josh Sweat, even if we don't trust the pass rush, he had 10 plus sacks. He came here, he did what he was supposed to do. He's not an all-pro guy. Nobody ever said. People who thought he was going to be, were starry-eyed. He's the best pass rusher by far the Cardinals have. He's a different level player. Mac Wilson was probably the MVP of the defense last year. And you do it by saying, look at how bad it was when he wasn't there. And that's not a knock on Cody Simon either. Cody Simon played fine. I would love to see a world where they, if they cut ADG, move either Mac to his spot or Cody, have him learn that spot so he and Cody Simon can play side by side next year. But there's 3 for me. And that's it. I don't trust Will Johnson. I don't trust Walter Nolan. I don't trust Garrett Williams. I don't trust Denzel Burke. You got to do it again. I don't trust DDR or DTR or Jalen Thompson. I don't know. I got 3.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you. Sweat was the first name that came to mind. It'd been career high 12 sacks. It feels like in an outside linebacker's room that opposite of him is like Baron Browning, Zayvon Collins, and Jordan Birch. It's like, okay, there's not a whole lot of juice there. So it's not like we saw Josh Sweat get a lot of like one-on-ones anyways. So I thought he did great his first year. I didn't expect him to be an all-pro, but like 12 sacks was definitely like pleasantly surprising to see. I don't know if I trust Budda Baker. I don't. And that sounds crazy to say, but like I really do think his play took a step back last year. And I don't think he deserved to be in the Pro Bowl, to be honest, man. I really think he got in the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, not a great year.
Being like a big name factor, man. And that sucks to say because he's undoubtedly the heart and soul of his team. Like he's a key cornerstone to his franchise, and I fully understand that. But just in terms of playing the field, like I think if you swapped his uniform with somebody else, like people would not have liked him on the field last year. Like absolutely not. But like his presence dictates so much for the defense to do. Like he's the focal point for offensive coordinators every single week, so they have to account for him. I'm also in agreement with Mac Wilson, like the quarterback of the defense. Like losing your green dot guy is not easy. It is not easy.
Simon was calling plays, dude.
Asking a day free rookie, to step in and like take those duties, like it's not easy at all. So like I do think the defense took a big step back with him. I'm going to put Dante Stills as my third guy. Like Stills doesn't get like solid. A lot of love. He's not a monster guy in terms of production, but like, dude, every time he's on the field, it feels like he's making plays. It feels like he's in the backfield. And at minimum, as like a rotation guy, I do trust him.
Because remember, Dante Stills, you could say, since he's been drafted, has been the most consistent interior pass rusher the Cardinals have had. Yeah. Pretty significantly.
I agree with Mac Wilson. Josh Sweat is such a cornerstone now. He's the only guy on this defensive line that you actually trust to pass rush. His 11.5 sacks, I believe is 11.5, is incredibly impressive when you look across the line and see who he was rushing the passer with for most of the year. When Donnie just said a second ago, no one was expecting him to be an all-pro guy. I wasn't either, but I'm going to be honest with you. He exceeded my expectations. Mm-hmm. There was no one next to him. If he would have had 9,
ESPN projected total was like
8.5,
like 5 sacks.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, it was slow. I showed that to Josh in training camp, and he scoffed. Yeah, he laughed. He's like, okay.
It looks like he's one of those guys now. He rolls out of his bed and he's going to get 10 sacks, and that's exactly like that contract. That's probably the best contract Monty Austin-Ford has given out, even when you look at guys like Mac Wilson. So that's a winner right there. Mac Wilson, I would agree with you guys, although, smaller linebacker. We'll see how, again, he does next year. Hopefully he can stay healthy. The Rabbit Taylor Demerson thing, I actually trust him more, at least in coverage, than I do Budda Baker at this point in Budda Baker's career. Now, Budda Baker's a superior tackler. He's a superior player in the run game. But I trust him maybe a little bit more than Budda, but I think leadership matters so much. When we talk about these 3 things, the Cardinals are definitely taking a safety in the draft, correct?
Or signing one.
For sure. Because Jalen Thompson's out the door. You're not allocating more money to the safety position. You already did that. Like, that was the Steve Keim thing, right?
Well,
they had 2 safeties, allocate a lot of money to both of them.
We'll see. I mean, Keaton Crawford looked okay last year.
Keaton Crawford. That's a good point.
So, I mean, they've got pieces like, and you drop Rabbit in the strong safety spot. With the thing, let me push back a little bit on the Budda Baker thing. I get it. Statistically, Statistically, is the worst year of his career last year. He also had nothing to work with. All of the DBs were hurt. They had no pass rush. It reminded me, because like it's so tough with Budda Baker, especially because he's not an interception guy. He's not Tyrann Mathieu. He's not Derwin James, who's going to get sacks. He's not Nick Eamon-Wari. He's not one of these bigger, like, new hybrid, like what you wanted Isaiah Simmons to be now. Mm-hmm. Like, he's not one of those guys. He plays around the line of scrimmage a lot, but like he was a Pro Bowler. That was 31 other teams flirting with him. That's all it was. 31 other teams saying, hey, we can put you in a better spot than where you are now. If everybody's healthy next year, Budda Baker will go back to his 2024 form, which is Pro Bowl level also. That's why. It's like, oh, and GTO, good point about Calais real quick. I'm assuming Calais isn't coming back next year. So It's not something that if he does, that's great. But
he's not even on the roster technically.
Yeah, he's a free agent too. I would assume he would come.
That's why I didn't mention him.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm shocked no one's well,
I'm a big Garrett Williams guy.
I was just shocked that we didn't touch on Garrett Williams. But yes, let's go to the offensive.
Well, no, because what I mentioned with the defense is he's hurt every year. He played last year, but he was hurt all year this year.
Hurt in college too.
I don't trust him because first of all, he's probably going to miss the first month of next season, if not more. Like, I don't trust him. He's hurt more than he's not. Okay. So that's why I don't trust. That's why I didn't put him in the top 3.
Let's go to the offensive side of the ball. Clancy, would you like to start? Okay. The right tackle position.
You trust the right tackle?
No, I'm being a little funny.
Starting again.
If we're talking, let's do it again. Let's go 3 guys that we trust.
Yeah.
Michael Wilson, Trey McBride, Paris Johnson Jr. Who wants tickets to the softball game now? Like it's those 3 guys. Like, Clancy made the stupid but really good point of Michael Wilson is Jacoby Brissett, Marvin Harrison Jr. is Kyler Murray. We know Marvin Harrison Jr. is more talented. That is not even a question. But Michael Wilson is the far more consistent player. Marv has never had a stretch like Michael Wilson had in his career yet, where he put up that many 100-yard games, and not even just 100-yard games, like 172-yard games and touchdowns. So Michael Wilson, you trust. Trey McBride, I mean, come on. And then Paris Johnson Jr., Yoda Frohold's probably in there too. But Paris Johnson Jr. is the guy on the line that you trust the very most because he plays a more premium position than what Yoda Frohold plays in the center spot. So I'll go those 3 guys. Donnie will make Clancy go last, so he has to come up with his own content.
Doug, you took the words right out of my mouth. Nobody in the quarterback room right now. Jacoby's steady, but like I don't like running back room. Like James Conner, I think is like a cut candidate. Not a whole lot of people are really talking about being 30 coming off the season-ending injury. They can save, I think, like a little over $7 million if they cut him. Trey Benson, I don't trust any receiver not named Marvin Harrison Jr. or Michael Wilson, or even just Michael Wilson, because a large part of Marvin Harrison's Jr. in 2025, like his season, just mental stuff. Like really, like I feel like he gets in his own head a lot, and I really just wish he'd be a lot more physical at the top of the routes and using that big frame that he has. But on the other side of the coin, like he's not a 50-50 receiver. He's not Calvin Johnson. He's not going to come down with these crazy, like just contested catches. It's not who he is. He wins on routes, and that's what he does. And I think with LaFleur, I'm really hoping he'll be able to kind of maximize that skill set. Not that he's a pristine route runner, but like looking at what he's been able to do with Cooper Kupp, with Puka Nacua, like I'm really hoping we can kind of get some gas in that Maserati. But like that's it. Like that is truly it. Until proven otherwise, it's Trey McBride, Michael Wilson, Paris Johnson. You can make an argument for Yeldon for a Holt, which I would put him in there, and then that's kind of it.
Yeah. And Ben, don't worry about stealing content. I did this for my show yesterday, so it's already out. So what I said was Paris Johnson Jr., Yeldon Froholt, Michael Wilson, Trey McBride, and in the same breath I said you can't trust the offensive line, but you can trust those 2 guys. 40% isn't a passing grade. And then I said I started with trusting Jacoby Brissett. I trust Jacoby Brissett in a sense that when you look across the landscape of the NFL, 31 teams would take him as a backup. I think that's fair to say, right? What he does, what he can do, spot starts, things like that. What he means for a locker room, his respect across the league is off the charts. What the Cardinals need right now is stable forces. I trust Jacoby Brissett. I don't think that anybody they bring in, even your, the love of your life, Ben, and Malik Willis, or Tyson Bagent, who I think you've known about for like 3 days now.
I can't even pronounce his name. I can't even pronounce his name correct.
Yeah, I know.
I just know he's got more pass attempts than Malik Willis.
Yeah, I know. But Jacoby Brissett was not the main. Usually when you lose, it's either the defense or the quarterback's fault. It was not Jacoby Brissett's fault that they lost 11 games that he started last year. It just wasn't. I know it wasn't pretty. They didn't have a run game. He dropped back between 40 and 60 times a game. We've talked about this ad nauseum since, since really week 10 when it started to slip. I trust him. Mike LaFleur will trust him. And I trust him because Mike LaFleur has only coached quarterbacks who have looked like Jacoby Brissett stature-wise. That's it. He knows them. Jimmy G, Matthew Stafford. He knows how to make the most out of it. So I trust it.
I think Jacoby, really quick, Ben, before you address that, I think Jacoby is good in the trust factor in terms of he's not going to lose you games. There's not one game I can recall watching last year and be like, Jacoby lost that for them.
Damn,
what is
4
he
turnovers?
doing?
What the hell happened? None of that.
And so but also the ceiling is so limited with him because he's been in the league for so long, because he's limited in some of the things that he could do as a quarterback. It's a car that can get you from point A to point B, but you're not going to win any street races. That's not what he's built to do.
Yeah, I think that's right. But I think that's exactly what the Cardinals need, at least for 2026, is just
outside of the right tackle spot, because I think the Cardinals are going to sign a guard in free agency. What's one position, any round, that you're like, you need to draft this here? And why is it running back? Because no one said they trust Trey. No one said they trust Trey Benson.
You can sign a running back. Running backs are a dime a dozen.
Yeah, but
when you say you bring in in free agency, you bring in a right guard or a left guard, you draft one also.
Mm-hmm. Well, for sure. No, for sure. I just know that what do you not want to spend money on? A running back. I'd rather spend the extra, even if it's $2.5 million, outbidding someone else for Joel Bitonio. I just think the Trey Benson experience, through this far into his NFL career, it's underwhelming, even if there's been some injuries.
Sure.
And it feels like we are going to, if we're going to go get Francis Mauigoa, you're going to bring, that's not just going to fix the running back problem the running game problem on its own. You got to get someone else in here, even if unless it's bringing back James Conner, or they're just going to run it with 2 guys, running back by committee as well.
Go ahead.
I just think even with the resurgence that we've seen from the running back position, not addressing the offensive line, but getting a new running back to hopefully fix things is buying fancy food or ingredients to cook in when you don't have any pots and pans. It's great. We have this thing to make our meal so much better. Awesome. You still cannot foundationally cook.
Yeah.
Congrats. You have nothing to cook with. You can't even maximize ingredients because you don't have the right stuff. That's exactly what this is. Exactly what it is.
Yeah,
I might be hungry. Who knows?
No, that's it. Yeah. I want some hamburger helper. That'd be good. I know Ben knows how to make hamburger helper.
Golly.
Yeah. Hamburger helper is the real deal. Bo Brock loves
I'm talking to 2 single guys. I haven't had hamburger helper in years.
Sorry, you haven't eaten that good. I apologize for you. I
turned it into hamburger help me, actually. So crazy.
That's good. Hamburger help him. Listen, with the offensive line thing, Ben, not only do they only have Yalta Frolt and Paris Johnson Jr. they can trust, they've got no depth either now. So
that's true.
It truly is a matter of Wyatt Teller is going to be on the market. If the Cardinals want to spend every dollar on 2 guards and then draft a right tackle, quite literally overnight, I could be the running back for the Cardinals and gain yardage. That's how, if you want to, they can. They can spend a lot of money in free agency to level up that offensive line. You have Isaiah Adams as a swing guy. You have Kelvin Beachum as a swing guy. You draft Francis Mauigoa, or you draft Spencer Fano, or you trade back and draft an offensive lineman in 7 to 10 range, whatever it is. This can happen overnight if they spend the money, literally. But it's really bad right now outside of those 2 guys. So it's sign them and draft them.
No, for sure. Absolutely.
And then you bring in Rico Dowdle for 1 year, $3 million. They gave James Conner 1 year, $1.2 million. His first contract here.
If you can get Rico Dowdle for 1 year,
2 year, $10 million, whatever.
Oh, bring it in. Bring it in. I think the reason why I'm saying that is we just don't. It seems like around the board, no one here has a resounding, glowing review for Trey Benson, and then of course James Conner. That's a good conversation for another day if they actually should cut James Conner. But listen, we got to stretch out these topics. It's the offseason now. Let's get to the backup quarterback position. What are the best options for the Arizona Cardinals? Let's talk about that next. All right, keeping the show rolling. Best options for the backup quarterback position. Kyler Murray, anyone? Is there someone out there, Tyson Bagent? Maybe the Cardinals just send a mid-tier pick to go bring in him as their backup quarterback as well. How much does it matter? And at the end of the day, is Jacoby Brissett just going to be the guy if they bring someone else in here, Donnie?
Yeah, no, 100%. I think this offseason, I actually wrote about this. Subtle drop. This has shown us everything that the Cardinals want to do with their quarterback position. Like the way they're moving about Kyler Murray, their trade interest in Tyson, I don't think necessarily reflected like they're just like, oh man, Tyson is phenomenal. I think it's, hey, here's a cheap backup who's young and who's also like fits the mold of what we want. He's like 6'3", like a little bit mobile. Like every quarterback brought in essentially under like Monty Ossenfort's watch, whether been like Clayton Thompson, Jacoby Brissett, like Desmond Ridder, like they were like of the bigger build of quarterbacks. So it wasn't a Kyler Murray. That's Kyler's talent obviously is like elite, but like that's a conversation for another day. I think the game plan here, Ben, is to get Kyler off the roster, go get a cheap young alternative, and just have him be a backup to Jacoby. I think Jacoby clearly is in the driver's seat. Yeah. Very firmly, clearly, and then they'll really attack the quarterback market in 2027. That's how I've read all of these tea leaves so far.
I agree with that. I mean, listen, you could do the bring in, like, there's really only barf-worthy names that are out there for backup quarterbacks. It's like Carson Wentz. I would say bring in Gardner Minshew, but he tore his ACL in like week 15, so he's going to be out for the majority of the season. Like, it's these aren't barf-worthy. They're guys who've won football games. They've started multiple football games in the NFL, like Jacoby Brissett had. Not as many. I mean, Jacoby was a starter for Indianapolis for an entire year. He was a starter for Cleveland. Like, he's not just a spot start guy. Jacoby Brissett's in the driver's seat. The only thing that can't happen, the only thing that can derail any sort of momentum and make them turn around and run the other way when the race is going one way, is having a backup like Keaton Slovis. Jacoby Brissett gets hurt in week 5, and then you have to start a guy who shouldn't be an NFL quarterback. That cannot happen. That doesn't mean you have to jump to the Malik Willis train or jump to the paying $30 million a year train, because if Malik Willis comes in and competes with Jacoby Brissett, I would still bet that Jacoby Brissett's going to win out the battle. So now you're paying $25 million for a backup quarterback. I'm giving Jacoby the keys, bringing in a guy who, whatever it is, you draft a guy in the 5th round, 4th or 5th round, and then you kind of see what you got, and then you draft a quarterback in 2027, like Donnie said. Like, there's no need to have a quarterback competition in 2026. There is
the quarterback competition thing. I agreed. Whoever they sign, whoever they're getting or if it's just Jacoby, he's going to get the reins. Why can't they? Because my argument was going to be draft a quarterback in the 7th round and draft a quarterback in the 6th round, make him your backup quarterback. Because the reasoning for that is that would be a bigger deal if the Cardinals were contending for a playoff spot. Like, your season gets derailed because you're starting Keaton Slovis. Middle of the season, Jacoby Brissett goes down for a couple of games. You got to start, a Clayton Tune, 5th round guy. The team's not, I know the team's not trying to win games, but I'm not really interested in them spending, another however many $1 million for a guy to ride the bench. I'd rather use that extra $1 million to help bolster the offensive line or bolster the safety room. I don't know if that's a horrible route to go down because they don't have playoff aspirations, Donnie, right?
We're going to find out, because Michael Bidwill was very vocal after he fired Jonathan Gannon that he watched other playoff teams in Wild Card Weekend turn it around in 1 year, and he said, I want to do that. And I think we're going to find out very quickly in free agency how intentional they are going to be. because I do not think Jacoby Brissett can get them to the playoffs. I hope I am wrong. That would be wonderful. I do not think Jacoby is the guy. I think he is safe and steady ship that can sell people whenever they need to go, but like he's not the guy to put them over the top. I love to eat crow on that. I am so curious though. So curious. Because Daniel Jeremiah talked about this yesterday on his draft conference call, which is why I wasn't at the groundbreaking. If Ty Simpson is there at number 34 in the second round, I wonder what the level of intrigue is, because Josh Weinfuss has previously reported the Cardinals internally do like him coming out of the draft. And Daniel Jeremiah said he's the only quarterback outside of Fernando Mendoza who's going number 1 overall to the Las Vegas Raiders that really fits what we project a Mike LaFleur offense to look like.
So here's the thing with that. Okay. And listen, that all makes rational sense on paper in a vacuum. If the best draft to ever happen wasn't next season, this is something that the Cardinals would be like, no, you know what? I'm not going to wait until Thanksgiving dinner. I'm going to go get McDonald's and eat 3 Big Macs and be full for Thanksgiving. Like, that's what it would be like drafting a quarterback that high before next year, where you're going to have your pick of all of the litters. You're going to have your pick of every make and model of a human being's body who plays quarterback. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Ty Simpson played bad football the majority of the season at Alabama. That should matter. So I know that they need a quarterback. Nobody's saying they're going to make the playoffs this year. It's like, oh, you know what? Let's be cheeky. Let's find the one guy, the Patrick Mahomes of this draft, and then, we'll be laughing. It's such a Michael Bidwill egomaniac. No, you know what? Let's not make it easy. Let's not pick of all the litters. Let's draft a guy in a bare bones draft. No. Like, I just don't. Does that make?
Yeah.
We've watched with our eyeballs it does. Good quarterback production this year in college.
I don't know if they're going to be bad enough to have their pick of the litter. That's my thing.
Well, there's going to be 7 quarterbacks coming out. They're going to pick top 15, right? And if you want to trade up and you want to go banana sandwich with all your draft picks, that's the draft to do it. Yeah, that's a Dane Cook reference. You have no concept.
No idea what you're talking about. Yeah, I'm with Clancy. I got in a Twitter discussion with someone on Twitter, who's Cardinal guy, does a lot of mock drafts. Good dude. Talked to him a couple of times. But he put out a mock of them getting Ty Simpson like the second round. I think even maybe in the third round. Just because you mock him late doesn't make it a good selection just because you took him later. Now, listen, there's a time to take a flyer on everyone. Dude falls to the 5th round, Shedeur Sanders style. Have at it, man. Have at it. Like, at that point, like, maybe you just got yourself a really good backup quarterback for years to come, which are valuable. But I'm with Clancy. Like, what's the point on that one? You're just, I would rather just get a cup. Like, I would rather, if they're going to take a tackle with a 3rd overall pick, just take another tackle from Arizona State. Like, just bolster the offensive line. I'd rather have a backup tackle to Francis Maligoa or Paris Johnson Jr. than force the issue. So they can be as intrigued as they want with Ty Simpson. I don't get it. Like, that guy is really interesting because I really don't get it. We saw Carson Beck at least have some success against the Hoosiers defense. Ty Simpson was horrendous against the Hoosiers defense. And back half of the season, after he was done playing Panera Bread State, McDonald's University, like Alabama's coined to do, looked terrible. So, I mean, I don't see the big thing with Simpson is like, that I like from him.
The NFL's knock on Simpson isn't even like he played bad against good teams. It's just that he has 1 year of starting experience. He's played 15 college football games, and that's it. Like, can you mortgage your quarterback feature on a guy who, like, you don't even have like a good sample size of, and like that sample size within itself isn't even like that strong. Like, you're drafting Ty Simpson and a lot of other quarterbacks too off of not what you are, but what you can be. So you look at Ty Simpson, he's a mobile guy. He fits the build of what prototypical NFL quarterbacks want to be. If I do remember correctly, he's like above 6'2" or something like that. It's like his footwork is solid, but like all of that doesn't matter if you're not 100% sold on him. And while the Cardinals may like him, I like a lot of things. Doesn't mean I'm going to get it.
Like Hamburger Helper. Oh no, but you can get Hamburger Helper.
Yes, I can.
The helpy. Like for me, I'd rather draft if you're going to do that. It's incredible. You add mushrooms and onions,
phenomenal.
Dude, you can some red pepper flakes. It's incredible. Come on, dude. I'll make it for you sometime.
Come on over.
And
let you hold my kid.
I won't. Absolutely not. With like, I'd rather like this is, and I wouldn't draft Ty Simpson. So this is the situation. I'd rather draft Carson Beck because Bo Nix, Michael Penix, if you play 9 years of college football, you're more ready to play in the NFL because you played for 9 years of college football. The reason why Jaden Daniels came in and was able to rip, he played 36 years of college football. I don't understand why it's like Bo Nix, no world
also would have been
ready. Like they did. They've all played so many. Carson Beck is 30. No, he's not. But it's like, he's been in college.
Does he have his doctorate by now?
Well, no, they asked him about class.
He's not even going to class. He's like, I don't even go to class.
So that's the thing. It's like Ty Simpson, it's a Mitchell Trubisky thing in North Carolina. People were enamored by him. He played 13 games and that was it. Stop. Don't draft a quarterback, you nincompoops, unless it's in the 5th round and go into 2027. Because this isn't like New Orleans, who drafted Spencer Rattler in the 4th round or something a couple of years ago. Derek Carr retired. He started. Then they drafted Tyler Shuck in the 2nd or 3rd this past year. That's different. That's a lot lower down draft capital with upside. But it's not, you're not, chaining yourself to the future and then having to be like Ty Simpson in the 2nd, then it doesn't work. And then 2027, then you have a Kirk Cousins, Robert Griffin III in Washington situation with 2 young quarterbacks, and you don't know what to do.
I would love Carson Beck in like the 5th or 6th round. Seasoned veteran, played a long time, and I think could definitely be the backup quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals for years to come. No, he's an ugly looking dude.
I didn't say that.
He's ugly. And look at me. I know exactly what ugly looking dudes look like.
Okay.
Not great. So
sounds like a trap.
With that being said, hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe button. Follow us on all social media platforms down in the YouTube episode description or in the show notes if you're watching on audio. Appreciate you guys being here, everyone tuning in the chat. Thank you so much. We will see you guys next Tuesday at 4 p.m. Thanks for listening to the Cardinal Squad Show. See you guys later.